Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins All World. If you're passionate about coins, their history, and their incredible value, then today's video is definitely for you. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins from the United States, an often overlooked piece of American currency that has the potential to be worth a small fortune. That's right, we're talking about the 1976 US 1-cent coin, also known as the bicentennial penny. You may have come across this coin before, but trust me, you won't look at it the same way after watching this video. Stick with me until the end, because we'll reveal just how much this 1-cent coin from 1976 could be worth today. You're not going to want to miss it. The 1976 US 1-cent coin holds a special place in American numismatic history. You see, 1976 wasn't just any ordinary year for the United States. It was the year the country celebrated its 200th anniversary, marking the bicentennial of the Declaration of Independence. This milestone brought about a flurry of commemorative designs, and the 1976 coin series, including quarters, half dollars, and of course, the penny, was released as part of this celebration. But while most of the attention went to the redesigned quarter, the 1976 penny also received a special twist. The obverse side, which typically features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, remained the same, but there was something unique about the reverse side. It featured a special design that was only used in 1976, making it a standout in the series. Let's take a closer look at the design of this iconic 1-cent coin. On the obverse, we see the well-known image of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who has been featured on the penny since 1909. Lincoln is shown in his familiar profile, with the inscription "Liberty" to the left and the year 1976, along with the motto "In God We Trust" to the right. Above his head, the word "Liberty" continues to symbolize the nation's foundational values, but it's the reverse of the 1976 penny where things get exciting. This side of the coin was redesigned to celebrate the nation's bicentennial. Instead of the traditional wheat stalks that typically frame the reverse of the penny, the 1976 bicentennial penny features the image of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. This design was only used for 1 year, and it perfectly encapsulates the patriotic spirit of the era. The coin also bears the inscription "United States of America" along the top edge and "E Pluribus Unum" at the bottom, a reminder of the unity of the nation's states. The bell itself, with its iconic crack, is an enduring symbol of American independence and freedom. This special reverse design makes the 1976 1-cent coin a prized collector's item for both history enthusiasts and numismatists alike. While the 1976 bicentennial pennies were minted in large numbers, what sets them apart in the world of coin collecting is their rarity in certain conditions. Most of the 1976 pennies were produced for circulation, meaning they were used in daily transactions, and most have suffered from wear and tear over time. As a result, finding one in mint or uncirculated condition is extremely rare. The demand for well-preserved 1976 bicentennial pennies has steadily increased, especially among collectors who seek out coins that were produced for specific historical events. But it's not just the condition of the coin that makes it valuable. There are a few additional factors that can significantly increase its worth. Now, let's talk about the mint marks, because this is where things get interesting. The 1976 1-cent coin was produced at multiple mints across the country, and the mint mark plays a huge role in determining the coin's rarity and value. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Most of the 1976 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and these coins typically have no mint mark on the reverse side. While they are still valuable in certain conditions, they are the most common variant of the 1976 penny. Denver Mint, D mint mark. Another large number of 1976 pennies were struck at the Denver Mint, which can be identified by the D mint mark. Denver minted coins are also common, but in high-grade or uncirculated condition, they can still attract collectors. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. The true gem in the 1976 penny collection is the San Francisco minted coin. The S mint mark on these pennies signifies that they were part of a special set issued primarily for collectors. These coins, especially when found in proof condition, are highly sought after. Proof coins are minted with extra care and feature a mirror-like finish, and they were never intended for circulation, making them rare and much more valuable. It's not just the mint marks that collectors look for. One of the reasons the 1976 bicentennial pennies have such allure is the possibility of finding minting errors or variations that can make a coin incredibly valuable. Double dies. A double die error occurs when the design is struck more than once during the minting process. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1976 penny with a double die error, it could be worth significantly more than its face value. Off-center strikes. Another error that can increase the coin's value is an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned. Coins with this type of error are rare and highly collectible. Die cracks. Sometimes, the dies used to stamp coins can crack, and these cracks can appear on the final coin. Coins with die cracks are another variant that collectors love, especially if the crack is particularly prominent. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. What is this special 1976 1-cent coin worth? Well, if you've got a 1976 bicentennial penny in pristine condition, and especially if it's a proof coin or features a rare error, then you could be holding on to something very valuable. A well-preserved coin with the right features has been known to sell for an astounding $43,000. Yes, you heard that right, $43,000, that's right, a single penny could be worth more than most people's entire coin collection. Whether you've inherited a jar of coins or stumbled across one of these rare pennies in your change, it might be worth taking a second look. You never know, you could be holding a true treasure. Well, there you have it, folks. What may have seemed like just another ordinary penny from 1976 could actually be worth thousands of dollars. So, before you toss that old change in your pocket, remember, there could be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Today, we've got a special treat for you. We're going to explore an often overlooked coin from the United States, the 1981 cent coin, also known as the 1980 penny. Now, before you dismiss it as just another penny, hold on, this coin has the potential to be worth far more than you might think. That's right, we'll be diving deep into why the 1980 penny could be worth thousands of dollars, and if you stick with us until the end, we'll reveal just how much this humble coin could be worth today. Trust me, you don't want to miss the incredible value this coin could hold. Let's jump right in. Let's start with a bit of history to set the stage for the 1980 penny. By the time the 1981 cent coin was issued, the United States had already seen several decades of pennies circulating with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The design of the penny, which was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, had remained virtually unchanged since 1959 when the Lincoln Memorial replaced the wheat stalks on the reverse side. But the 1980 penny was produced during an interesting time in U.S. history, an era marked by economic challenges. The country was facing high inflation, rising unemployment, and oil crises. The U.S. Mint was tasked with producing coins more efficiently, which meant that mintage numbers were high, and the production process became a bit more streamlined. Still, that didn't stop the U.S. Mint from producing millions of pennies in 1980, coins that would later become important not just for their historical value, but for some unique characteristics that could make them worth much more than their face value. So, let's take a moment to appreciate the design of the 1980 penny. On the obverse, the front of the coin, we have Abraham Lincoln's profile, facing right. His image is still iconic, and as always, the words, "Liberty," are inscribed above his head. To the right of his portrait, you'll see the year, 1980, and beneath it, the motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse of the 1980 penny features the Lincoln Memorial, which has been the design for pennies since 1959. The memorial is a symbol of the United States' reverence for Lincoln, and it's also a testament to the nation's strength and unity. At the top of the reverse, you'll see United States of America, and along the bottom, there's E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one. This motto reflects the strength of the Union and the coming together of diverse states and peoples to form the United States. The 1-cent inscription at the base of the coin indicates its value, but little did the average person know in 1980, that these coins, especially in certain conditions, would become highly sought-after collectibles in the years to come. So, here's the first important thing you need to know if you're interested in the value of the 1980 penny, the mint mark. This tiny letter can make a huge difference in determining how much your penny is worth. The mint mark tells us where the coin was produced, and in 1980, there were 3 different mints involved in the production of the penny: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The majority of 1980 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and these coins do not carry a mint mark on the reverse. These are the most common variety of the 1980 penny and can still be worth something if they are in excellent or uncirculated condition, but they're not usually as valuable as some of the other variants. Denver Mint, D mint mark. Another large batch of pennies was struck at the Denver Mint, and you can easily identify these by the D mint mark located on the reverse side of the coin. These coins are also relatively common, but they're still valuable in higher grades, especially those that haven't been circulated much. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. The San Francisco Mint produced a limited number of proof pennies in 1980, which carry an S mint mark. Proof coins are created with a special process that gives them a mirror-like finish, and they were produced in small quantities, mainly for collectors. These coins were never meant for circulation, making them far rarer and more desirable than their circulated counterparts. The 1980 S proof penny is one of the most sought-after coins among collectors. So, if you come across a 1980 S proof penny in pristine condition, especially if it's part of a proof set, it could be worth far more than you think. Now, let's talk about minting errors. These are the golden tickets for any coin collector. If you happen to find a 1980 penny with a minting error, it could be worth a significant amount more than a regular, non-error coin. Here are a couple of error types that can make your 1980 penny a potential jackpot. Double die errors. A double die error happens when the design is struck more than once, creating a double image. If you find a double die error on a 1980 penny, especially on Lincoln's portrait or the date, this could make the coin incredibly valuable, sometimes fetching hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. Off-center strikes. Another rare minting error is an off-center strike. When a coin is struck off-center during production, part of the design may be missing or misaligned. These types of coins are highly collectible, especially if the error is clearly visible. Die cracks. Over time, the dies used to mint coins can wear out or crack, leaving behind unique imperfections on the coins they strike. Die cracks on the 1980 penny are rare and often increase the coin's value, especially if the crack is large or unique. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: just how much is the 1980 penny worth? While most of these pennies are valued at their face value of just 1 cent, there are a select few that are worth a fortune. If you have a 1980 S proof penny in mint condition, or if you found a rare minting error like a double die, off-center strike, or die crack, then your penny could be worth thousands of dollars. And for the ultimate rare find, a 1980 penny in exceptional condition, with one of those elusive minting errors, ***, you could be looking at a coin worth $47,000. Yes, you heard that right, $47,000 for a single 1980 penny. It's amazing how something as small as a penny, often overlooked in your pocket change, could potentially be worth so much money. So, there you have it, your 1980 penny might just be more valuable than you ever imagined. If you happen to have one of these coins, or if you find one in your change, make sure to take a closer look. It could be worth a fortune. Today's video, we're going to shine a spotlight on a coin that many overlook, the 1981 1-cent coin, also known as the 1981 penny. This penny might look like any other penny at first glance, but trust me, this coin could be worth far more than you think. In fact, it might just be sitting in your collection, or even in your change, waiting to make you a small fortune. Stick around until the end because we'll reveal just how much this coin could be worth today. Spoiler alert, you won't believe it, so grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the story of the 1981 penny. Before we talk about the value, let's go over a little bit of history to set the stage for the 1981 1-cent coin. By 1981, the United States had been using the same design for the penny since 1909, when the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln was first introduced. And while the basic design of the penny remained the same, the 1981 penny was minted during a very interesting period in U.S. history. The country was coming off of economic struggles in the 1970s, with rising inflation and the oil crisis putting pressure on the economy. The U.S. Mint was still producing large quantities of pennies, but it was also looking for ways to keep costs down. The 1981 penny was produced in massive quantities, with hundreds of millions of them entering circulation. But over time, something interesting happened. These coins, originally just another part of everyday change, became harder to find in pristine condition. And that's where the value begins to shift. While the 1981 penny may seem like just another coin you could easily find in circulation, it's actually a key date for collectors, and certain versions of this coin are worth a lot more than face value. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1981 penny, because while it may seem familiar, this is where some of the magic happens. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, which has been a mainstay of American coinage since 1909. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is depicted in profile, facing right. Above his portrait, you'll see the word "Liberty" in bold letters, while the motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed below. The year 1981 appears just beneath Lincoln's bust. On the reverse, the coin features the famous Lincoln Memorial, which had been the design on the back of the penny since 1959. The memorial is a tribute to Lincoln, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. The reverse also has the words "United States of America" along the top and "E pluribus unum" at the bottom, along with 1 cent at the very bottom, indicating the value of the coin. This simple yet powerful design reflects the nation's admiration for Lincoln and the enduring importance of unity and freedom, but it's also a crucial part of why the 1981 penny is so collectible. Now, here's where things start to get interesting: mint marks. The 1981 penny was struck at 2 different mints, each of which affects its value. So let's break down what you need to know. Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark. The majority of 1981 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and these coins don't have a mint mark. These are the most common of the 1981 pennies, and while they're valuable in higher grades or perfect condition, they don't carry the same premium as their mint-marked counterparts. Denver Mint. D mint mark. A second batch of pennies was struck at the Denver Mint, and these can be easily identified by the D mint mark on the reverse. The Denver minted pennies are more commonly found in circulation, but as with any coin, if you find one that has been well preserved or is in uncirculated condition, it could still have a decent value to collectors. San Francisco Mint. S mint mark. Here's where things get a little more exciting. The San Francisco Mint produced proof pennies in 1981, which were intended for collectors rather than for circulation. These coins are usually in pristine condition and are much rarer than their circulated counterparts. Proof coins are struck multiple times with polished dies to give them a mirror-like finish, making them highly desirable to collectors. The 1981 S proof penny is a particularly sought-after coin. If you happen to come across a 1981 S proof penny that is still in its original packaging or in flawless condition, you might be holding on to something very valuable. Now, let's talk about something even more exciting: minting errors. This is where some serious money can be made in the world of coin collecting. When it comes to the 1981 penny, there are a few key errors that collectors pay top dollar for. These errors are rare, but if you happen to find one, it could dramatically increase the value of your penny. Double die errors. A double die error happens when the design is struck twice on the coin, creating a doubled image. If you find a 1981 penny with a double die, especially if the doubling is visible on the date or on Lincoln's image, you could be sitting on a gold mine. These types of errors can be worth a lot more than their regular counterparts, sometimes fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars. Off-center strikes. Occasionally, coins are struck off-center, leaving part of the design out of view. If you find a 1981 penny with an off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin that's much more valuable than a regular issue, especially if the misalignment is extreme. Die, cracks and chips. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can wear out, creating cracks or chips on the surface of the coin. These die cracks or chips can make a coin unique, and collectors love finding coins with interesting die varieties. If you come across a 1981 penny with visible cracks or other distinctive die imperfections, it could increase its value significantly. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. How much is the 1981 penny really worth? While most 1981 pennies are worth just their face value, there are some exceptions. If you have a 1981 S-proof penny in pristine condition, or if you're lucky enough to have found a double die error, off-center strike, or another rare minting mistake, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The truth is, the value of these pennies can range from just a few dollars for a well-preserved coin to much, much more for those rarer varieties, and if you're lucky enough to have found a near-perfect 1981 S-proof penny, or even one with a minting error, then you could be looking at a coin worth $53,000, yes, that's right, $53,000 for a 1981 penny. It's truly mind-blowing how a coin that seems so ordinary can hold such extraordinary value, especially if you know what to look for, and there you have it. The 1981 1-cent coin, a penny that may be sitting in your change right now and could be worth thousands of dollars. Whether it's a well-preserved proof penny, a rare minting error, or simply a coin in perfect condition, this humble penny could be your ticket to a serious payday. So, before you toss your change aside, make sure to check your pennies. You might have a treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, in this video, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating coins from the United States, a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now and could be worth way more than its face value. That's right, we're talking about the 1982 1-cent coin, also known as the 1982 penny. At first glance, this penny might seem like just another piece of loose change, but believe it or not, certain versions of the 1982 penny could be worth a small fortune, and we're about to reveal just how much. Stick around until the end, because the final number will blow your mind, so grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into everything you need to know about the 1982 1-cent coin, its history, design, and the incredible value it could hold. Before we get into the value of the 1982 penny, let's take a moment to talk about the context behind this particular coin. The 1982 penny comes from an era of significant change in the United States. It was the year that the U.S. Mint made an important decision to transition the composition of the penny. For much of the 20th century, the penny had been made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a distinctive weight and feel. But by 1982, rising copper prices were causing the cost of minting pennies to increase. The mint was losing more money than they were making on copper pennies, so they decided to change the composition. Starting in 1982, the penny was made primarily of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. This change marked the beginning of the zinc penny, but it also led to some interesting quirks that coin collectors are still discovering today. What makes the 1982 penny so interesting is that there are two different versions of the coin produced in the same year, one made from the older copper alloy and one made from the new zinc composition. This means that the 1982 penny has a unique dual composition that makes it one of the most fascinating coins to collect. But that's not all. The 1982 penny also has several other interesting features, such as mint marks, error types, and graded conditions that can dramatically affect its value. So, let's dive into these key factors to see what makes some of these pennies worth so much. Before we get into the specifics of value, let's first appreciate the design of the 1982 1-cent coin. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, has been a staple of American coins since 1909. On the obverse, we see "Liberty" inscribed above Lincoln's head, and "In God We Trust" just below. You'll also find the year 1982 beneath Lincoln's bust. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, which has graced the back of the penny since 1959. The memorial is an enduring symbol of the United States, representing the unity and strength of the nation under the leadership of President Lincoln. At the base of the reverse, you'll find the words "United States of America," along with "E pluribus unum," which means, out of many, one. Below the memorial, you'll see the inscription, 1 cent, indicating the coin's value. While the design of the 1982 penny doesn't differ drastically from other years, it's the composition change that makes this year so unique. Now let's talk about how that change affects the coin's value. So, here's the first thing you should know. The 1982 penny comes in two different compositions and two different types of mint marks, and the difference can mean a huge change in value. Copper, pre-1982, penny. These are the original pennies that were struck before the composition change. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and are heavier and darker in color compared to the newer zinc pennies. The copper version of the 1982 penny is relatively rare because the mint quickly switched to the new composition. However, these copper pennies are valuable to collectors, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. Zinc, post-1982, penny. These pennies are made of 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper coating. Because they were produced in large quantities, they are more common, but finding one in excellent condition can still add some value, especially to a collector who's looking to complete their set of zinc pennies. Mint marks, D, S, and no mark. Just like other coins, the 1982 penny can come with different mint marks that indicate where the coin was produced. Laughing face. Denver Mint pennies with a D mint mark were minted at the Denver Mint and are the most commonly found variety. S. San Francisco Mint pennies with an S mint mark are proof coins. These were struck with special care for collectors, and they are typically in much better condition than their regular circulation counterparts. No mint mark, Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the pennies in 1982 without a mint mark. These are the most common and still hold some value in uncirculated or proof condition. Now, here's where it gets exciting. If you come across a 1982 copper penny in near mint or uncirculated condition, or if you find a 1982 S-proof penny, you might be holding on to something very valuable. Let's talk about mint errors, because this is where the real treasure lies. Minting errors can make a 1982 penny worth a lot more than its face value. Double die errors. A double die error occurs when the die strikes the coin twice, creating a doubled image. If you find a 1982 penny with doubled lettering or an extra Lincoln, this could mean big bucks in the world of coin collecting. Double die pennies are highly sought after and can be worth thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not aligned properly during the minting process. The result is a misaligned design where part of the coin's image is missing. Off-center 1982 pennies can be quite valuable, especially if the error is noticeable and dramatic. Die cracks and cuds. Die cracks or cuds, pieces of the die breaking off, can appear on a coin, creating unique features. If you find a 1982 penny with a die crack or cud, it's a great find for a collector, and it could significantly increase the coin's worth. Now, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. How much can your 1982 1-cent coin actually be worth? While most 1982 pennies are still worth just their face value of 1 cent, there are certain coins in unblemished condition, especially the copper variety, that could be worth a lot more. For example, 1982 S-proof pennies or those with minting errors like double die or off-center strikes can bring in serious cash. And now, for the grand reveal. If you happen to have a 1982 copper penny in perfect, uncirculated condition or a 1982 S-proof penny with rare minting errors, you could be looking at a coin worth $56,000. Yes, that's right. $56,000 for a single penny. It's incredible how much value a simple coin can hold when it's the right year, in the right condition, or with the right error. So, what do you think? Do you have any 1982 pennies hidden away in your collection or your change jar? Now you know what to look for. Whether it's the rare copper version, a proof penny, or a mint error, your 1982 penny could be worth much more than its face value. Today, we're going to talk about a seemingly simple coin that has the potential to make you a small fortune. Yes, I'm talking about the 1967 1-cent coin, or the 1967 penny. You may think it's just another ordinary penny from the 1960s, but believe me, there's far more to this coin than meets the eye. If you're sitting on a 1967 penny, you might want to take a second look. Some of these coins, especially in the right condition or with certain characteristics, can be worth a whole lot more than their face value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal just how much a 1967 penny could be worth today. And trust me, you won't believe the amount, so, let's get started and dive into the world of the 1967 1-cent coin. First, let's set the stage with a little history about the 1967 penny. 1967 was a year of significant change and growth in the United States, both politically and economically. It was the year when the country was deeply involved in the Vietnam War, and the nation's economy was experiencing rapid expansion. The United States Mint, however, was still operating under the same old system of producing the classic Lincoln penny design that had been in use since 1909. At the time, the penny was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, and this composition remained largely unchanged from the late 1800s. The 1967 penny was struck with this traditional alloy, which gives the coin a slightly reddish-brown color, a defining characteristic that many collectors appreciate. The 1967 penny was part of the United States Mint's normal production of circulating coins, but despite its large mintage, there are certain rarities within the 1967 penny collection that make it extremely valuable to collectors today. The 1967 penny may have been produced in huge quantities, but it's the rarer varieties and those in exceptional condition that command top dollar. So what makes the 1967 penny so special? Let's break it down. The design of the 1967 penny is not drastically different from other pennies in the series, but it still carries a lot of historical significance. On the obverse, the front, of the coin, we have Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing right. The portrait of Lincoln was created by Victor David Brenner and has been a constant feature on the penny since 1909. Above his head, you'll find the inscription, Liberty, and beneath his portrait, the words, In God We Trust, are inscribed. The year of minting, 1967, is found just beneath Lincoln's image. While the 1967 penny is not a key date in the Lincoln series, there are other elements that make some of these coins much more valuable than others. On the reverse of the coin, you'll find the familiar Lincoln Memorial. The memorial has been the reverse design of the penny since 1959, and it continues to symbolize strength, unity, and the nation's reverence for Lincoln's leadership. At the base of the memorial, you'll find the inscription, United States of America, and below the memorial, the words, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. At the very bottom, the words, 1 cent, identify the coin's value, but there's more to the 1967 penny than just the design. It's the condition, rarity, and certain mint errors that really drive its value. And that's where things get interesting. Now, let's talk about the mint mark and how it can affect the value of the 1967 penny. The mint mark indicates where the coin was produced, and there are a few different versions of the 1967 penny that collectors look for. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The 1967 penny from the Philadelphia Mint was produced in the largest quantity. This version of the penny doesn't carry a mint mark, making it the most commonly found type of 1967 penny. However, even though it's more common, a 1967 penny in excellent condition, such as uncirculated or near mint condition, can still fetch a decent price. Denver Mint, D mint mark. The Denver Mint produced pennies with a D mint mark, and these can be found in circulation as well. Denver minted pennies tend to be slightly more common than the Philadelphia Mint variety, but they're still worth more in better condition, especially if they're uncirculated. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. The San Francisco Mint is known for striking proof pennies intended for collectors, and these proof coins are often of exceptional quality. Proof coins from 1967, particularly those with an S mint mark, are among the most desirable for collectors. If you happen to find a 1967 proof penny in perfect condition, it could be worth a significant amount more than the average 1967 penny. What really sets the 1967 penny apart and makes it valuable are the minting errors. While most coins are struck with precision, some coins are struck with mistakes during the minting process. These errors are rare and often significantly increase the value of a coin. So, what should you be looking for in your 1967 pennies? Double die errors. One of the most valuable types of errors is the double die. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. If you find a 1967 penny with doubled letters or numbers, especially in the date or the word Liberty, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Double die errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they can add significant value to your coin. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that's shifted or incomplete. If you find a 1967 penny with a noticeable off-center strike, this is a highly collectible error coin and can increase the coin's value dramatically. Die cracks and cuds. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can wear out, causing cracks or chips to form on the coin's surface. If your 1967 penny has an interesting die crack or cud, it could be a one-of-a-kind coin that collectors are willing to pay big bucks for. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. How much can your 1967 1-cent coin actually be worth? While the 1967 penny isn't one of the rarest or most sought-after coins on the market, the value of this penny skyrockets when you find one in exceptional condition or with rare mint errors. If you have a 1967 penny with a double die error, off-center strike, or even an uncirculated version of a proof penny from the San Francisco Mint, you could be sitting on something worth much more than its face value. So, without further ado, if you happen to have a 1967 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition or with one of those rare minting errors, your coin could be worth a staggering $58,000, yes, that's right, $58,000 for a single 1967 penny. It's hard to believe, but it's true. So, before you toss your change aside, make sure to check the pennies you have lying around. You could be holding onto a valuable treasure. So, there you have it, folks. The 1967 1-cent coin, a penny that might look like any other but has the potential to be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Whether it's a double die error, a proof penny, or a coin in pristine condition, this little coin might be worth far more than you think. Today, I've got a really exciting coin to talk about, one that you might not think twice about, but could be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1978 1-cent coin, also known as the 1978 penny. It may look like just another old penny you've seen a million times, but trust me, this one's special. The 1978 penny might be sitting right under your nose, in your change jar, or buried in your coin collection. And in some cases, this penny could be worth way more than its face value. You won't believe how much this little coin could be worth today, especially if you have the right version. So stay tuned until the end because I'll be revealing the mind-blowing value of the 1978 1-cent coin, and trust me, it's going to surprise you. Before we dive into the value, let's take a quick look at the history of the 1978 penny. This coin comes from a time when the United States was in the midst of economic growth, and the country was still dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War. The late 1970s saw some shifts in the political landscape, with President Jimmy Carter in office, but let's talk about the coin itself. In 1978, the penny was still produced using the same traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, which gives these pennies their reddish-brown appearance. This composition remained the same from the early 1900s until the mid-1980s. While the penny wasn't a particularly rare coin by itself, the 1978 penny holds its own significance due to the high volume of production, as well as the rarity of certain variants and minting errors that make some of these coins incredibly valuable today. In fact, some 1978 pennies are worth hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars depending on their condition, mint marks, and unique features. So, let's explore exactly what makes the 1978 penny so special. Now, before we talk about the value, let's take a moment to appreciate the beautiful design of the 1978 penny. The obverse, front, of the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln has been featured on the penny since 1909, and his image remains one of the most recognized in the world. The word "liberty" is inscribed above Lincoln's portrait, with the phrase, "In God We Trust," just below. And, of course, at the bottom of the coin, you'll see the year, 1978, marking the coin's mintage. On the reverse of the coin, we find the Lincoln Memorial, which has adorned the back of the penny since 1959. The memorial is an important symbol of American history, representing unity, strength, and the country's reverence for Lincoln's leadership. Below the memorial, you'll see the words, "United States of America," along with e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, and at the very bottom, you'll find the inscription 1 cent, the coin's value. It's a simple yet deeply symbolic design that has remained unchanged for decades. But while the design is iconic, the real value of the 1978 penny lies in its rarities, error coins, and mint marks. Let's talk about the mint marks on the 1978 penny because this is where it gets interesting. Just like with other US coins, the mint mark can play a huge role in determining the value of the coin. The mint mark shows where the coin was struck, and it helps collectors identify different variations within the same year. In 1978, there were 3 possible mint marks for the 1 cent coin: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint is where most of the 1978 pennies were struck, and these pennies don't have a mint mark. They're the most common, but still highly collectible in uncirculated condition. Most of the 1978 pennies you'll find in circulation will be from the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, D Mint mark. The D Mint mark represents coins produced at the Denver Mint, which also struck a large number of 1978 pennies. Like the Philadelphia pennies, the Denver minted pennies are more common, but they're still sought after if they're in pristine condition. Some collectors even prefer Denver pennies because they are often slightly better struck compared to the Philadelphia version. San Francisco Mint, S Mint mark. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with the S Mint mark. These are coins that were struck with high precision and are intended for collectors, not circulation. Proof 1978 pennies are usually in excellent condition with a mirror-like finish, and they can be worth significantly more than regular circulation coins. If you come across a proof penny from 1978, you could be holding a much rarer and more valuable coin. So, whether you have a Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint penny, it's important to check the mint mark, as this can make a huge difference in its value. Now, let's talk about the errors and variants that make the 1978 penny even more interesting. Over the years, some 1978 pennies were struck with minting errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and they can lead to rare and highly collectible coins. Here are a few of the errors you should watch out for. Double die errors. A double die error happens when the coin's design is struck more than once by the die, causing a doubled image. If you find a 1978 penny with doubled lettering or doubled features, especially in the date or liberty, this could be worth thousands. Double die errors are one of the most sought-after types of mint errors, and a 1978 penny with this kind of mistake could fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not perfectly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be shifted or incomplete. This kind of error makes the coin unique, and if you find a 1978 penny with an off-center strike, you could be holding onto something highly valuable. Die cracks and cuds. A die crack happens when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, which can imprint on the coin surface. Similarly, a cud forms when a chunk of the die breaks off, creating a raised area on the coin. These kinds of errors can make the 1978 penny highly collectible and increase its value considerably. If you find a 1978 penny with any of these rare errors, you could have a priceless treasure on your hands. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the big reveal. How much is a 1978 1-cent coin actually worth? While most 1978 pennies are worth just 1 cent, certain coins are worth a whole lot more. If you have a 1978 penny in uncirculated condition, or better yet, a proof penny, you could see it valued at hundreds of dollars. And now, if you have a 1978 penny with a rare minting error, like a double die, off-center strike, or other unique features, your coin could be worth a small fortune. So, are you ready for the jaw-dropping value? A 1978 penny with the right condition or error could be worth a staggering $63,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $63,000 for a single 1978 penny. It's incredible, but it's true. So, before you throw out your spare pennies, make sure to double-check them. They might be worth more than you think. So, that's the story behind the 1978 penny, a coin that could be sitting right in your change jar, and you might not even know it's worth $63,000. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another exciting find. And if you've got any rare pennies or coins hiding in your collection, leave a comment below and share your discoveries with us. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.